Alright guys, I'm going to show you a little driving shot here. This is my low beam and my fog lights on right now. Turn the driving lights on. You'll see they look just like the high beams, but better. They're brighter. You can aim them wherever you need to aim them. And they come out super nice. They look really good. I have them aimed right now, so they're aimed just above the low beams. And then in the center, they're touching, both beams are just touching so that I get as much width out of them as I can. But I just love the way they look. They really light up the road. Okay, here are the LED pods I purchased from Lasfit. They're around $130. I'm going to do a quick unboxing, I'm going to do an install video of them, and then I'm also going to do a review of them. So here are the LED pods. These are them. These are the SAE driving. You can see how they have the fins inside of the lights. They're pretty slim, not too thick. They have a lot of cooling on the back. And then they have the lead on the back, which has the plug-in. Here is the plug and play. The other one has the same thing, obviously. There's the light, got the housing on the front. And then there's a plug for that one, same thing. Then, also inside the box, you have your two plug and play wires. And then the brackets. Here's one. That one's bagged up. This one I opened previously. This is what mounts to the light and then to the bracket on the bottom. They have little indents that for the bolts to hold them in place, so you don't need two wrenches. And then also are the mounting hardware. Okay, here are the brackets for the F-150 to mount the lights to the truck. I got these from a company called Street Rays. They sell them on eBay. They're about $20 shipped. Mount the brackets to the lights. As you can see, the big curve in the front. It's going to go towards the front of the light. So we're going to place these on. And then we're going to take a supplied washer, place it in between the two. Then you're going to take supplied Allen bolt, place a lock washer on there first, and then a flat washer. Now I do this because if you don't put the flat washer on there and you just use the lock washer, when you tighten it down, that little cut in there, that little groove, it's going to spin on the bracket and it's going to gouge the paint. And you don't want to scratch paint on it. So now we're going to go ahead and tuck the wire in and then mount the light to the bracket. So under this flap, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tuck it underneath best as I can to get it up under there. Go ahead and close the hood down just enough. And tighten this up a little bit. It's a 14 millimeter, the bolts that come with it. It's just snug so I can turn it, but it's not going to wobble on me. You can see here I have them installed onto these Street Ray brackets. I got these from eBay. They bolt right up under the fender. They're about 20 bucks. Super easy to install. Very strong brackets. They look really clean. Let's go under the hood and I'll show you how I wired it. Now this wiring harness is purchased from Lasfit as well. It has everything you need. It has the positive side that goes to the battery, inline fuse, the relay for it, the negative side that goes to just a common ground. More than enough wire for any application. And then I ran it all the way over here. And right here is the plug for the switch that's also included with it. It goes down into a grommet that goes into the firewall. You can see that big grommet coming off the firewall in there. that's where I ran the switch into. We'll go inside and we'll check that one out. So in here, I did not want to mount the switch anywhere on the dash. I didn't want to drill any holes on my dash. You could do it here on the Fords. I think it would look pretty clean there. It's kind of noticeable when you come in. I like it. I don't like to drill any holes in the dash. So what I did was I ran the wire through the grommet here, and you can see the wires right here. Comes through this grommet. It's fairly easy to get it through. It just zip ties to a harness, the original harness from the vehicle here. I just zip tied it right to it. And then I ran it over here to this little bracket that I made. So this little bracket here is just made of a piece of plastic. So what I did was I cut a piece of plastic to a certain size, I heated it up, and I bent it like this. And then I drilled a hole up here, and you can see a bolt here. I mounted it to this piece of plastic underneath the dash so you can't see anything outside of the dashboard. And then I just drilled a hole for the switch, and it's pretty solid. Works really good. All right, so here they are mounted. They're on. These are I got the Lasfit high beam, low beam, and fog light. The fog lights are actually the switchbacks. I'll show you how those work really quick. I turn my fog lights off, back on. They switch back to yellow, which are awesome. So that's both pod lights with the lights on my truck. So they look good so far. So now check it out at night, see how they look. Alright, so this is what it looks like with them off. That's what it looks like with them on. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at them with the low beams and the fog lights on. You can see the big difference there once they're turned on. You can see on the hood there's not much of a glare. These look really, really good at night. I'm really pleased with them. I'm going to give Lasfit another 5 stars once again for a great product. I definitely recommend them. And I want to thank Lasfit for allowing me to install them and review them on my truck. This road's a little bit darker than the last one, so we get a better shot at it. Now the pod lights I have adjusted so that they are just above the low beams. So right where the cutoff is, I put them just above that. And then as far as the width, I have both beams just touching in the middle, so that I get as much width out of them as I can without sacrificing anything in the center. You could essentially turn them out more to make them more like a ditch light, but I wanted them more for like really dark roads, driving to work at night. It's like if no cars are coming, I just flip them on just so I get a lot better light. And then once you add them in with the high beams, the road is just completely lit up. You can see how bright they are. I'll flick my high beams on real quick. You can see just the light output is just crazy how much light there is there. Alright guys, here's another shot. You can see these are my low beams, fog lights. And we'll turn them on. You can just see how the road is just totally lit up. These are the switchback fog lights from Lasfit. I just changed them to the ambers. That way you can get a better idea of what just the pod lights and the headlights look like. You can see how far down the road they're actually shining. They're not shining up closer to the vehicle, but that's what you want. You want them down the road, lit up. And now my high beams are on, so I got all my lights are on right now. Super bright, really nice. Alright guys, we're going to get a couple more shots here. This is the low beams and the fog lights. That's the driving lights. You can see there's not much glare on the hood at all. It's very minimal. I know a lot of people complain about pod lights and the glare on the hood. You can see it's not, I have to literally pick my head up to look on top of the hood to see the glare. It does not reflect at all when I'm sitting here. So you can see when I turn them off, I turn them on, and then I'll turn my high beams on. It just lights up. The whole road is lit up. The whole road all the way down on both sides, and as far as you need it, it's pretty much lit up. And see, I'll shut my pods off. I'll shut my fog lights off. And I'll turn my headlights off. And I'll turn the pods, just the pods on. That's just the pods. That's super bright. I don't even need my headlights on for that. And then I'll shut them off. Turn the high beams back, low beams back on, fog lights back on. Turn the pods back on. Alright, let's go outside and see what they look like. So you can see how bright they are down the road. That's what they look like on the truck. Nice beam pattern. You can actually see the beam. You can see how much light is just lit up down the road. It looks really good at night. I could probably aim them a little bit higher just to give it farther light, but I like where it is. I like how wide they are. You can see when I move it there how they go out really far.